Hello, non-existent viewers. It's TVB, and this is a type of video that I haven't made in quite some time now. I'm going to make three mini reviews for films I have seen since Christmas Day, because between Christmas Day and New Year's Eve, I wasn't making any videos. I was just like hanging out in my house and letting you guys ask me questions for my New Year's Eve Q&A. And during that time span, I was home. I was in New Jersey for the first time since like January of last year. Oh my gosh, it was crazy being home for the first time in over a year because it's like a lifetime passed. But anyway, yeah, I saw Wonder Woman 1984 while I was home, and I used my mom's Netflix account because I have a little TV in my room back at home in New Jersey, and I used Netflix there to watch All Together Now. And tonight I just saw Monster Hunter. I decided just like because I wanted to see a movie, but like nothing new is coming out this weekend, which I assume nothing. There aren't going to be any like new January movies this year, which kind of disappoints me because January is like prime time for seeing all the really god awful movies that come out like every year for my and just review them and trash them for you guys for my and then like have movies I can put on my top 9 worst movies of the year list. I'm not gonna be making one of those kind of videos this year, but I figured might as well make a video where I just quickly go over my thoughts on these three respective films that I've seen. And a New Year's resolution of mine is I'm gonna like try to make an effort to go to the movies more this year in 2021. Hopefully the coronavirus vaccine will be coming around to everyone soon, and we can finally have our lives back. And of course, new movies will be coming out. But yeah, let's get to it. Wonder Woman 1984 was my most anticipated movie of 2020, long before the virus even started. Like I was really looking forward to this film. Like Patty Jenkins nailed it with the first Wonder Woman film. That still is my favorite DCEU movie, and I love Gal Gadot. Like there's literally no one else who can play Diana Prince except her. And yeah, I finally got around to seeing 84, and in all honesty, it wasn't as good as I was hoping it'd be. I don't hate this movie as much as everyone else does. It's not as much as some people do. I mean, it's not like a terrible movie, in my opinion, but it really didn't live up to everything I hoped that it would. Like, I mean, I'm gonna keep this video spoiler free, but I mean, if you haven't seen this movie yet for whatever reason, it's available on HBO Max. I mean, I saw it in theaters, but I saw this movie and I couldn't like the pacing was all over the place, and there's just some things like some certain lines and character traits in this film that just lead to nowhere. I mean, it was good to see Chris Pine back with Gal Gadot, and I like Kristen Wiig's character, and Pedro Pascal, I think is what his name is. Yeah, I don't get like DCU movies just can't seem to get their villains right. The villain in '84 is definitely more sympathetic and likable than other DCU like villains, but still, he's not very compelling. He's not that menacing, and just like the writing, like the action scenes are rather few and far between, and there's just a lot of scenes in this movie that really don't make any sense. But despite its like significant narrative flaws, I will say that I did enjoy Wonder Woman 1984 again. It was just great to see Gal Gadot back on the screen playing Wonder Woman, and the action scenes were decent, and the score from Hans Zimmer was very like, oh my god, Hans Zimmer, one of my all-time favorite composers, really nailed the soundtrack for this movie. And honestly, it might even be better than the soundtrack in the first film. That's saying something. But yeah, I'd say like 1984. I mean, just thinking back to the other DCU movie that we got in 2020, Birds of Prey. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I liked Birds of Prey more than 84. Because Birds of Prey, yeah, the pacing and the writing was all over the place in that movie too, but just like I feel like it was just more entertaining and just more cohesive. Well, 84 was just like the narrative was just all over the place, and there was like plot holes and like very over the top scenes as well. I mean, I still enjoyed watching it though. It was the performances were solid, so like, and the action scenes were very good for the most part. So I'm giving Wonder Woman 1984 6 out of 10 stars. It's a passable film. This movie's getting all ranges of criticism from like it's great to it's garbage to everyone in between. And yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. And I wanted to segue into All Together Now, which was a Netflix movie that was released back in August. I'm just going to be real with you guys for a second. I don't really care for streaming services. I honestly don't, because it's like there's so many streaming services nowadays, and it just get kind of like very pricey. And like, if I'm gonna be sitting in front of like my laptop or my TV for hours, I'd rather be playing a video game or editing videos instead of like watching Netflix shows. But I decided, since I was home and I could use my mom's Netflix account, I decided to watch all together now because Ali Carvalho is in the starring role of this movie, and I love Ali Carvalho. She voices Moana, for those of you who don't know, and she's a young rising actress, and I'm kind of shameless about it. I also have had the biggest celebrity crush on her since she debuted as Moana, and she was also in the NBC show Rise 2.5 years ago, and she was too bad that she only got one season because she was fantastic in that as well. And she plays Amber, who's everyone thinks is just just the typical teenager, right? But nope, she is homeless, and she and her mom are like living on a school bus, and they're like hustling with their family issues. But the film manages to be pretty lighthearted despite that, and that's why I think this film really shines. Is that it manages to be like, it manages to take such a serious subject matter like homelessness and family drama and alcoholism and trauma, and manages to make something funny and light of it. This film definitely had me snickering at a few scenes, just seeing Amber's relationship with the surrounding characters, and she's just such a beautiful spirit, and that's not just like through Carvalho's performances, also like through the script, and the just like the way the character carries herself, and you definitely feel sorry for her throughout the film. Again, not like jumping to spoilers, but there's definitely some like jaw dropping. There is like a particular jaw dropping scene, and I'm like, oh wow, this movie really won. This movie's PG, but honestly, it has the themes and maturity level of like a PG-13 film. And yeah, this film, I'd say for the most part, it's pretty harmless. It's nothing like groundbreaking by any means, because yeah, it is sort of like just like a coming of age movie, and I've seen a bunch of these already. But yeah, I would suggest giving all together now a watch. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10 stars. It is a likable film. And last but certainly not least, I just saw Monster Hunter tonight, which is the film adaptation of the popular video game series Monster Hunter, and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, and starring his wife Milla Jovovich. And once again, they're working together for a video game adaptation. I know these two were working through that god awful Resident Evil franchise, which in all honesty I refuse to watch. I have never played any of the Monster Hunter games, so I can't. I hear that this movie, like the weapons and the monster designs they face, are like very faithful to the video games that they're based on. And even I know that a big emphasis in the game Monster Hunter is that you kill these monsters, you fight these monsters, and use like their body parts to craft like weapons and armor and stuff like that, and sort of progress on this monster slaying adventure. Yeah, I will say this film, the pacing is way too fast, like trailer level fast, where it's like I recognize a lot of the moments throughout this film from the trailer, and it was just very go, 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 go. Like, the film opens with Milla Jovovich and her soldiers, because they're in the U.S. Army. They're going through the desert, and like 5 minutes in, they're just like sucked into the storm and like taken to the Monster Hunter world. And yeah, it just like it goes way too quickly. And Tony Jaa in this movie, like, Milla Jovovich meets this like guy who's been living in the monster world for like ages. They don't speak the same language, but their dynamic was hands down the best part of the entire movie. Like, because since they don't have any common languages, they have to like work together and communicate with each other and through various ways. And then they meet what was his name? Ron Perlman later in the film, who it's like, I kind of wish they introduced like Ron Perlman's character earlier in the movie. Part of me wishes that'd be the case, and if you've seen the movie, you might understand why. And the action scenes were decent. The CGI, the sound effects, the soundtrack, that was all pretty spot on for the most part, but just the storytelling was just didn't really work for me. And the film, honestly, without spoiling it, the film ends just like with like it's like begging for a sequel, and I'm like, dude, seriously, you're begging for a sequel in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic? Like, how the heck is that supposed to happen? Like, I feel like I would have enjoyed Monster Hunter more if I played the games that it was based on, and it's the same problem that I had with Warcraft back in 2016. Like, the World of Warcraft movie, pretty much everyone who likes that movie seem to be either fans of like the Warcraft games, or people from overseas, because I know that movie made most of its profits from like China and other countries. But still, it's like that movie did a good job at fleshing, like a fantastic job actually, at fleshing out like the Warcraft universe and the realms and the humans and the orcs and everything. But the narrative and the script and the pacing was just all over the place. I feel like Monster Hunter was the same thing, because I've heard that this movie was pretty faithful to like certain aspects of the game, but it just didn't really land well in other departments. But yeah, the action scenes were good and there were solid performances, but I feel like it's just your typical sci-fi, like fantasy, like action adventure. Like that's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, if you're in the mood for just like a brainless hour and a half of Mila Jovovich, kicking some butt with other dudes and monsters, you're in for a good time. This film definitely has moments, but like overall, I'd give Monster Hunter a 5 out of 10 stars. Like, it's a meh film. And yeah, that basically concludes it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully we'll be getting new movies soon. Like I said, I will be trying to go to the movies more and see more, like, and see and review more movies for you guys, because during the fall semester, like when I moved into my new house and the fall semester began, the movie theaters were reopening, a lot of weekends I still wasn't really going to the movies that much, either because A, I was just way too busy with homework, or B, well, even though I did have downtime, no new movies were coming out, and I just would rather be doing other things. But hopefully new movies will be coming out soon. I'm gonna play it by ear, I suppose. But yeah, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and leave a like and a comment down below, and follow me on Instagram and all that good stuff. Links are in the description. My name is TVB9. Have a nice night. Stay beastly.